From the campus of Eastern High School in Voorhees, New Jersey, Comcast Sports presents Boys High School Soccer. This afternoon, it's the South Jersey Soccer Coaches Association Boys Senior All-Star Game. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Marc Narducci. Quite cold afternoon here at Eastern. A great day for soccer, however. Top talent in South Jersey will be highlighted today, particularly the seniors.
There's no question about it. This senior all-star game, I think it's been a good year in South Jersey, and it's a chance for a lot of fans who don't get to see a lot of players that maybe they couldn't see this year. One, Ansgar Otto of Willingboro. I think we're in for a treat. I thought he was one of the best skilled players in all of South Jersey. Of course, we have players from state champion Delran, Rancocas Valley. It's been a good year in South Jersey. It's a good way to culminate it.
Of course, this is an opportunity for those seniors to showcase their skills. Many of them have yet to commit to a college or university. Many college coaches on hand today. Should be a great game. Stick around. We'll have it for you in just a moment.
And welcome back, everybody. Marc Narducci here along with Rob Christ as we get together for the boys senior all-star game, the red against the white. Again, we talked about a very good year for South Jersey boys soccer. State champions, Delran, Rancocas Valley, Sacred Heart in non-public B, and just some tremendous soccer throughout the area. Of course, Delran, what a dramatic 2-2 tie for the Bears. Down 2-1 with 1:14 to go in regulation and scoring 9 seconds later. But again, there should be a lot of talent in this game. Obviously there is. They're all stars in the senior game, and they're getting started. 45-minute quarters. 45-minute halves, I should say, as we play. And the white team kicking that out, Alex Osia, Haddon Township. The Hawks having another fine year. And there was number 6, Bob Allibone, who we'll talk about, from the state champion Delran team. Again, these players have not played together, so they have to still get used to one another. Number 20, you saw Kevin Lombardo for the white, an explosive scorer from Middle Township. And the guy we talked about in the pregame show for the red, Ansgar Otto of Willingboro. I think as he went up for the head ball that time, one of the most skilled players that you've seen in South Jersey in quite some time. So again, we'll talk about the players, but the seasons, how things went this year throughout the area. White team trying a little of attack. That was Allibone, 6 from Delran. He was a sweeper for the Bears team, and the real leader, I think, in the back is now the white trying to make a run, but he got a little ahead of himself. Khalib Garza of Ocean City. Ocean City, of course, making it to the South Jersey Group 3 final before losing to Morristown in that 2-day event. And there comes Otto with the one touch, and he's looking to get it back. Otto, and he tried to get it back that time to Blake Fink of Rancocas Valley. Of course, Fink, one of the most prolific scorers around in South Jersey, had 27 goals this season for the Group 4 state champion Red Devils. Fink is wearing number 19 in the red, and I think we're going to be calling his number quite a bit here today. The red coming back now down the flank.
And yielding, nice little play made by the white keeper.
And welcome back to Rob Christ.
Thank you.
By the way, my play-by-play will not make anybody forget Rob Christ, so he's back here.
Again, this is a great opportunity, Mark, to see some of this fine talent that South Jersey has to offer. Rancocas Valley, of course, arguably the top team in the region.
There was Otto. We saw a little bit of Otto, 17, just a great ball work that he has. Garza has made a couple of nice plays there, and Garza and Lombardo, of course, 2 players from the Cape Atlantic League.
And now it's going to be the red team to take it away. And they will force the issue. Looks like it's going to be a corner for the red. And it will be. So the white team back on their feet, headed up and away. Again, the way these teams are separated, there's no true rhyme or reason per se. They're typically separated just to try to create a well-played, evenly matched game. And we'll have a foul called here. So whistle blows, the red team send it away. Of course, you're watching the boys South Jersey All-Star game. Used to be a player shaken up. Immediately before this game was the girls game, so they have turned the lights on here at Eastern High School. And did not get the number of that player being escorted off. Who is shaken up. It may very well be Adam Hutchinson from Eastern. Of course, Eastern represented not only by Hutchinson and playing here, but also the keeper is Matt Lee. And there you see him.
And Lee getting it just before Justice Henry of Delsey. And Henry is going to be a very active player here. I think he's a guy who was really under the radar earlier in the season. He was a little banged up. Talk about Henry. There he was, and clipped Adam Hutchinson, as you said, Rob, of Eastern that time. But I know Rutgers was at one of their games looking.
That was a fine feed. DJ Kafer from Bordentown feeding that.
And CJ Finley, who I thought was one of the, Rob, one of the real clutch players in the postseason for Burlington Township. Of course, Burlington Township was competing in the Central Jersey bracket this season and made it all the way to the semifinals before losing to a very good Shore team. But I mean, Finley had all 3 goals in a 3-0 win, playoff win over Spotswood. He had the 1 goal and a 1-0 win over Rumson, so he was a real key player. And he also scored against Morristown. A lot of people don't realize Burlington Township actually tied Morristown this year by a 1-1 score. So Finley really had a strong season, but especially near the end of the year in the postseason.
That was a fine pass by Bobby Alabone out of Delran. And again, shots a little bit wild here early. They literally had little time to warm up, and I mean that in every sense of the word.
Well, it's interesting because Alabone, who's number 6 for the Red, Delran, he's actually playing a little bit different position. They have him here as an outside back for the Red team. Of course, he was a sweeper for Delran, so he's used to playing in the middle. Obviously, it won't be a big adjustment, but John Pontillo, the outstanding defender, is actually sort of the guy playing back at that sweeper spot from Morristown for the Red team.
Whistle blows. The red team will be able to send it away. We mentioned Matt League, the keeper for the red team. For the white team, it's Andrew Datavi from Ocean City.
See, there's Alabone, and he's very strong. Great touch that time by Otto. It's interesting because they have Otto, number 17 from Willingboro. Again, he was a guy that played up top most of the time. It looks like they're playing him more here as an attacking midfielder, but I'll tell you what, he's electric when he gets the ball.
There's Alabone.
Alabone's one of the great leaders, too, in South Jersey. John Boswell, number 5 from Cherry Hill West, he was a late addition to this team.
Kafer with a lot of space, headed away. Good defense played there by the white team's Jim Praslowitz out of Gloucester Catholic. Red, a lot of room, and again, missing wildly is John Boswell out of Cherry Hill West.
Of course, Cherry Hill West advancing this year to the South Jersey Group 4 semifinal before losing to Rancuncas Valley 2-0. And of course, they had the great midfielder Ryan Gordon, who was actually picked for this game, but was unable to attend. And Gordon was one of the guys that really made this team go. And Boswell as well had an excellent year.
Sent away, and it's the red team who will come away with it, but bite it off. Whistle blows. That will go against Justice Henry out of Delsey.
As I said, Rutgers was at one of their games earlier in the year. He's getting some recruiting interest really from all levels, and guy's very explosive with the ball. That's a young Delsey team. I think Delsey really came on, made the state tournament, and they're going to miss Henry, but they have some young players. I think Delsey could be a team that we hear from in the Trico Royal next year.
Ball sent up, and in the box, good opportunity, volley. And again, the red team has had opportunities, and Blake Fink unable to finish.
Well, as we mentioned, Fink with the 27 goals for RV, and there was no more explosive tandem than Blake Fink and Ryan Finley this year for the Red Devils.
Henry has it taken away, and now a miscommunication allows Henry to take it right back. Feed a nice little touch pass, and there's Alabone.
That was a great job by number 20, Kevin Lombardo. You called it, Rob, that nice touch by Lombardo, one-timing it.
He's up there somewhere.
Of course, Middle Township winning the South Jersey Group 2 championship, then falling to Delran in the state semis 4-2.
Good aggressive play, but that will result in a corner kick. It's worth noting they are 45-minute halves as opposed to 40-minute halves.
Lombardo had 25 goals this year. It was a high-scoring Middle Township team.
Sent towards the middle and headed away. White team still with the ball. Now, some pressure in the middle, and League with a fine save.
League is not a very big goalie. He's about 5'8", but you saw tremendous quickness that time. And by the way, Lombardo's really made his presence felt early on in this game. You don't want to let Otto get the ball there, 17 the red, if you're that white defense.
Sent to the side, running onto it for the red. It's Fink. Fink leaves. Sent towards goal and headed away by the white. Good individual effort, and the white team coming away with it. Looks like Sheehan. Sheehan out of Haddonfield.
Yeah, Kyle Sheehan had some really big goals down toward the end of the season. There's Lombardo again. He is really been flying here early on. But what they're saying is he pushed that time. That was an excellent defensive play by TJ Ahern, number 4 of Cherokee. Didn't let him get around him. And Bardo got a little frustrated and pushed.
Towards midfield. And handball not picked up. It's the white team with possession. Now the red. Here's Otto.
Didn't get called.
Otto. Looking for a little give and go. Red team.
Of course, you see a lot of these Burlington County players. That's really where the strength, I think, of South Jersey soccer was this year. I mean, obviously, you had 3 sectional champions from the Liberty Division alone. Morristown, RV, and Delran. Look at Otto. That time, not a good pass, but he's just electric when with the ball. He creates space for himself very quickly.
Nice shot. Rebound here, left foot, and sent away by the white team. So the red team continues to pepper Detavi.
That's a great shot by Boswell that time.
And headed away by the white defense. Alabone serves it in. Knocked right out by the white.
Because remember, Rob, Alabone's the one that had that game-winning goal in the state semifinal against Middle Township on a blast from about 30 yards on a set piece. There's Boswell really lining up and Detavi making the save that time.
White throwing.
Hey, both teams have really taken turns here, making some nice runs. There's Finley. You don't want to leave him open, by the way.
And it's looked like it may have been a deflection. All seemed to change direction on Detavi.
That's what C.J. Finley did all year, and as we said, especially in the postseason when he had an outstanding playoff for Burlington Township.
Little flick. And now, good opportunity, left foot, and a fine save, but a blast from Finley. Headed towards the middle. Here's Otto. Otto. Fine feed. And the red again going forward. A little miscommunication here, but here's Otto. Otto, left foot. Didn't get a lot on it.
Now, he didn't get a lot on it, but that's the other thing about Otto's game, what you'll see with the right foot. He can really strike a ball. Otto is not committed yet to his school, and he will make some soccer coach very happy. He's tremendously skilled.
Of course, he comes out of Willingboro, which used to be a soccer hotbed years ago. That has since changed.
Although this year the Chimeras went 12-6, made it to the playoffs for, the first time in about a decade, and I actually saw them, Rob, in the Group 2 in playoffs against Haddon Heights, and they lost 8-2, and you say, well, what a blowout, but Willingboro actually led the game 1-0. It was tied 1-1 early second half, and then Heights put 7 together. But Otto had 2 that game, and one of them was a real highlight-filled type goal.
It's been some time, but
Well, don't let Fink get it there. He's a very prolific finisher as well.
one of the better soccer players to ever come out of Willingboro was Cleve Lewis, and if that name rings a bell, that's because he's the brother to one Carl Lewis.
Boy, I really like the way Justice Henry, number 18 for the White from Delsey, and Kevin Lombardo of Middle Township have been working together. There's Otto. Look at him go. That's an outstanding ball to the flank.
Cross. Opportunity shot and a score. The red team swarming and finishing. 27-22 remaining, and the red team strikes first.
Well, Again, you know, you see the cross by Kafer there.
How you doing, Andrew?
Right to the far post and one timing it in.
Go.
It's difficult because, of course, the jerseys do not have numbers on the front. We'll give you that goal score momentarily.
It looked like it was
it's,
Steve Smith assailing.
I thought it was Shaver. Let's take a look one more time.
Now, you're right. Dean Shaver, Deptford, a guy very familiar to the Gloucester County fans, the all-time leading goal scorer in Deptford history. And it was Shaver putting it in.
Henry heads it up. The red team again with a lot of time and space. The red team's Cates out of Cherry Hill East. Touch pass, Shaver. Finds his man. That's Bernstein out of Cherokee. Serve towards the middle. Headed away. Throw in for the red.
We had a hard game today.
Now the white team looks to be made up of schools a little bit more in the southern portion of the region. Whereas in the first game, not so much the case, but we have a lot of Gloucester County schools making up the white team. And
Yeah, the first game they were spread. You had like Olympic Conference schools on both teams, but now the white team is the Cape Atlantic League, the Colonial Conference, and the Trico.
the one exception may be the white team having Brian Hill out of Cinnaminson.
I had Shaver unofficially with 75, finishing up his career with 75 goals. He had 21 this year. Actually, make that 78. Just a prolific goal scorer.
We had an opportunity to see him on Comcast earlier in the year against their arch rival Clearview Pioneers. Justice heads it up. Alabone with some time. Feeds the wing. Finds Bronner out of Lenape. Nice little feed coming onto it, Fink. And taken away by the white. Now far wing, running onto it. It's Lombardo. He's illustrated some fine speed. Senior from Middle Township.
Middle Township scored like 101 goals this year. Really, obviously an offensive team. Lombardo, Johnson.
Alabone has it taken away. Here's Justice Henry. Henry and League showing that speed coming out and taking it away. You know, also often, Mark, you talk about the height and size of a keeper, but you can see how that speed can also be quite an asset.
No question, and I don't think there were many keepers in South Jersey that were quicker than League.
Ball's crossed.
By the way, speaking of League and Eastern, where this game is being played, how about the Vikings, Rob? Winning the Olympic American. Again, Sheehan with an outstanding pass right there. And there you see the speed of League, because he had to be quick to beat a guy like Henry to the ball. But Kyle Sheehan making a very nice feed that time. We're talking about Eastern, though. First division championship, Rob, since 1985 this year. Coach Steve Kozla, they had a great season.
Okay.
Of course, when you win the Olympic American, you're doing quite a job.
It's up to Fred and Kevin.
Eastern, of course, went on and lost in PKs to Williamstown in the Group 4 tournament. We were talking a little bit about that earlier in the previous broadcast with the girls team, how it's just a tough way to lose a game.
Yeah.
PK is not necessarily a good indication of who the better team is, but you got to figure out a way to end it somehow.
Yeah, there's no question about it. How about the Trico? You talk about Williamstown. Williamstown, Clearview, and Cumberland tri-champs in the Royal Division. As tight as the division as you'll see in South Jersey this year.
Red team having a tough time getting out of their own end. They feed it towards the middle. There have been wholesale changes for each team, so again, it's essentially two different teams playing out there for both the white and the red. A couple players have stuck around, but essentially wholesale lineup changes.
Wow, that whole play was started that time by number 15, the red, Jake Miller, just an outstanding midfielder. He has the ball right there for Morristown. Guy who Mike Sutcliffe said actually really Morristown played through Miller, really helped out with the attack.
Top of the box, good opportunity. A blast is too high. And off of the foot of Brandon Cates from East.
Of course, Morristown had a great season, Rob, winning the South Jersey Group 3 championship and winning the South Jersey Coaches Tournament, the only team this year in the state to beat Rancocas Valley 4-3 in that championship game that was played right here at Eastern.
And again, the Red working out of their own end. Good run here for the Red team's Bronner from Lenape.
We saw Andrew Bronner. He's an explosive player, and again, that Lenape team had a very slow start. Remember, they got off to a 1-4 start. Really came on strong as the year game went on, and Bronner was a big part of that.
Well, again, speaking with some of the coaches in the Olympic, they felt that Lenape maybe was the most talented team in the entire division. You don't have to.
Well, Lenape was banged up too. They had some key injuries.
But again, it just speaks to the program at Lenape. We spoke at length about the girls' success. And here you see the guys who have had a tradition of fine soccer.
Remember, they
at Lenape.
They lost the senior midfielder Drew White, who had suffered a season-ending knee injury in the preseason, and that set him back, I think, early in the year. It took him a little while to recover from that, but as you mentioned, they were playing very, very well at the end of the year. Well, that time maybe a little overpassing. Max Bernstein, the Cherokee number 18 for the Red, had the ball, and instead of crossing it or taking that shot, he actually gave it up.
$18 and change remaining in this first half. 1-0 your score.
Yeah.
Shaber, the goal scorer out of Deptford for the Red team.
Of course, Datavi ready to take the goal kick from Ocean City. What a marathon South Jersey Group 3 final where Ocean City and Morristown played to a 1-1 tie with under 5 minutes to go. The weather was so bad they called the game. They had to go the next day and play it again. Morristown winning.
Now, you are a soccer historian here in South Jersey. Have you any knowledge of that ever happening before?
No. And the problem is, from talking to people, I know it wasn't raining as, when they had to make the decision. I think it was at 11 o'clock that morning and everything like that. But that game should never have been played. I mean, and it wasn't even played on turf. That's the other thing. So I'm just fortunate that I don't think anybody got hurt in that game. But that wasn't the best of decisions, I think. In fact, I was supposed to do a game that day, Rob, on a turf field at Toms River East, and they called the game, and I think it was the right move. I mean, you want to give these teams, you don't want them to be playing in a torrential downpour, no matter how much the turf can take.
That's always very difficult. I mean, as a coach, I was in the midst of that same type of problem years ago in the South Jersey Championship game against Toms River, and they felt that we didn't want to play because of a pitching situation. We tried to get the game in. We only got to play about 3 or 4 innings, and it's kind of like make a mistake. Darned if you do, darned if you don't type of deal.
By the way, Billy Seddon of Salem taking the throw in, and how about the year Salem had, winning the South Jersey Group 1 championship this year?
Yeah.
Now, he's got the right idea. I don't know where I can get one of those hats, but I'm interested. Looks nice and warm. Of course, we're working into the early evening here at Eastern High School, so the sun has gone down.
Rob, I'm usually freezing. Maybe I've been out in the cold a lot the last few days. This is not bad. There's not much wind. It
actually feels better now than it did just about 45 minutes ago. The wind has died down considerably.
There's Miller. We said a very, very talented player. Ah, nice dummy that time. Nice dummy play by Bernstein at Cherokee, running through it.
Top of the box, sent away by the white. And we'll have a throw in here. No, saved by the senior from RV, A.J. Johnson.
Yeah, A.J. Johnson's a guy that didn't get a whole lot of publicity, but just was a really solid performer for the South Jersey Group 4 champions. You notice the Mohawk, a lot of the Red Devils got them.
It's not to be confused with the Ray Hawk. Of course, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays team had their Mohawks done, so they called it a Ray Hawk. Do they call it a Red Devil Hawk or RV Hawk? Do you have any knowledge of that, Mark?
Don't know, Rob. By the way, I spent a lot of time with the Devil Rays, and they did have some very bad haircuts. and covering the World Series, spent a lot of time in St. Petersburg, including their manager, Joe Madden. I don't see many 55-year-old guys with Mohawks, do you?
No, it was not becoming. And the red team with the 1-0 lead.
What the red team's doing is they're really spreading the field and then giving everybody some space. This is a tremendous facility here at Eastern.
This turf kind of allows the game to be played at a much quicker level. The passing much crisper, and because of it not needing to be tended to, you obviously have perfect conditions all the time.
Well, this is the future of the sport. There's no question about it. Remember, Rob, when they used to play the state finals at what was then known as Trenton State College, and they had that AstroTurf that looked like a tennis court. It was so hard. And everyone said, you can't play on that stuff. But they've refined the AstroTurf. And now the NJSIAA had all the championships played on artificial turf. I was up at Hillsborough yesterday with Delran, and that was a nice turf field.
Well, it's kind of interesting because, being involved a little bit in what happened here at Eastern High School, being the baseball coach, and we have a partial turf field. The amount of fill that they use in the field dictates the speed and also the amount of bounce that you'll get. So, there is a science behind it.
By the way, I thought number 20 for the Reds, Steve Smith of Salem, may have gotten away with a handball out in there.
Cut towards the middle. And the red team again blasts it in. It looked like Bernstein.
Tremendous job. First of all, Brawner taking it down the right side and then passing it to Bernstein. And you're right, Bernstein making no doubt about it.
So the white team, the home team essentially, for today's game, down 2-0. Scoreboard says 7, but it is 2-0.
I think even we can count that. Yeah, I've enjoyed this first half. I think both teams have gotten to a nice little rhythm here.
Well, again, you can appreciate the skill level. These are the top players in South Jersey. And again, a large portion of them will continue their soccer careers collegiately. Ball headed up, and Johnson will send it forward. A little too strong off of the foot of Jake Miller. Miller gets it back. Miller from Moorestown. Sends it to the middle, but it's the white team who comes away with it. Now the white team with a rush coming on. A deflection in league handles.
You know, one player who would have been a candidate, in fact, he's on the roster, and we won't see him play today, is Kevin Kirsch of Moorestown, Rob. And he hurt his hamstring in the state semifinal victory and tried to go in the state final and just wasn't able to do it. A gutty performance, but he wasn't able to do it. But, you know, he had that winning assist against West Windsor Plainsboro North, and he actually hurt his hamstring on that play. But what a tremendous player. 19 goals and 12 assists this year for the Quakers. And, you know, one of those guys who in the postseason really, I think his game rose to another level. Of course, Brian Hill in now for Cinnaminson wearing number 9 in the white. You'll see that cast. He's had a problem with his hand, but he's been able to play through it. And he was another one that scored some very big goals, helping the Pirates, a very young Cinnaminson team, get back to the South Jersey Group 2 final, where Middle Township won that game 4-1, but a great job by Cinnaminson getting to the sectional final this year, Rob.
And now the white team coming right back. A little touch pass, give and go, too strong. Red team breaks out of their own end. Here's Miller. Miller tries to cut it to the side. Ends up on his back. Now the white team will come right back. That's Winkelspecht from Williamstown. Throw in. It's Lombardo. He finds his teammate in Garza out of Ocean City. To the back. And Brian Lewis out of West Deptford sends it forward. Now the red team, good ball forward, running onto it, Steve Smith. And Smith comes away with it, but help from West Deptford's Lewis negates any opportunity.
Steve Smith from Salem had a tremendous year this year. 13 goals, 7 assists. We mentioned about the Rams. Not only winning the Trico Classic, but winning that first South Jersey Group 1 championship.
Once again, the red team able to hold, and they'll send a ball down the far end. Joey Kane out of Delran. Kane still with possession, coming into the box, and now being run off by Lewis.
That's a tremendous job by Brian Lewis, number 4 in the white from West Effort. Apparently, it initially looked like he was beaten on the play, and he just stayed with it. Just got enough of it.
Get some crowd shots and kind of get an appreciation for how cold it is.
You know, you talk about Kane. Kane and Alabone, you know, a day after winning a state title, and they're playing in the senior all-star game. That
shot on, and that misses wide. You know, you said before that you preferred it being played today versus Wednesday. That's my only concern, is that you have some players coming off of a state championship game, and the subsequent day, given the cold conditions, you'd hate to see anybody injured and showcased.
Yeah, but I think it's all right. It's not like they're going 90 minutes today. You know, they're substituting a lot.
Frankly, I think that makes it even more difficult, because you have to shut down and come back in. Whereas, you know, when you're playing for the greater part of the game, you're able to maintain your warmth, both literally and in terms of your muscles firing. And now the red team breaks out. Nice read by Joey Keegan out of Eastern. Keegan feeds it forward. Miller cuts it inside. Miller has it taken away.
One dribble too many that time for Miller. You know, we've seen Keegan from Eastern, a guy whose game doesn't really rely on a lot of finesse, but he's just one of the toughest kids in South Jersey. And Smith almost putting it in there that time.
Tavi once again will boot it away. Keegan looks to settle, and the red team comes away with it.
I'll tell you what, number 18, Max Bernstein, who scored the second goal. Very impressive here today. There you see Johnson on the cross, and Smith just staying on the ball and just not getting enough of it that time. Brian Lewis, you saw, that was a good shot of Lewis, number 4, trying to shield off and let the Tavi get it, and Smith stayed on the ball. That's great hustle.
Red team coming in the near flank. Nice little cut pass. Lewis, little give and go with Steve Smith. Nice job by Smith. Now a little push, but able to maintain possession. It's Kane in the middle, and what a save from Datavi, as right there was Jake Miller. Again, a lot of space here for this red team.
Excellent work. Boy, Joe Kane has come in and really given this red team a spark.
Keegan leaves. Top of the box. Honor for Lenape. Johnson looking for a little deflection. We should have a corner here.
Boy, again, a very nice job by Joe Kane on the cross that time. And Smith ran by it. I don't know if he did that purposely, like a dummy play that time. But I'll tell you, Miller was right there. That's interesting to see what Smith's intention on that play was, if he wanted to run through that, because if he would have trapped it, he might have had a shot.
Far side of the box, headed down, sent away. The white team able to clear it. That was Garza from Ocean City.
Yeah, beautiful positioning by Garza that time.
Long ball, settled, and the red team will look to go. A.J. Johnson yields, but it's the white team that comes back. And once again, in the middle of things, it's Lombardo from Middle Township. Down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this first half. 2-0, red on top. Bernstein and Shaver, your goal scorers. Now the red team once again with a tremendous opportunity towards the middle. And again, a great save from Datavi. And it's still right there on the doorstep. Had Smith been able to collect himself a little quicker, maybe he would have had an opportunity, but Datavi read it well and tripped up Smith and blocked the shot.
Wow, Steve Smith has been all over the place. Blake Fink gave him a very nice feed coming down, and Smith didn't get quite enough on it, but Datavi doing a good job, and there's a good play backing it up as you see Brian Lewis. Brian Lewis has really played a good positional defense here for the White.
Now the White team, they'd love to score one before we head to the halfway point of this one. To the middle. And the red team will look to break out. Johnson. And Smith trying a little touch pass. All for naught. Inside of a minute remaining. And the White team just never seems to be able to put more than a couple passes together. The red cuts it to the middle. Fed inside, but right there the White team able to clean up the garbage. Keegan heads it forward. There's Keegan once again.
He hasn't played in Major League. He's still in like minor leagues, but he's really good.
To the middle. A lot of space. Good move.
He's better. I'll be honest with you.
Red team now. Far side. Nobody home except Brian Hill for Cinnaminson. Red team again. Here's Johnson. Johnson quickly switches. Shot on. And a good opportunity there for Brandon Cates. So some crisp passing for the red team results in another opportunity. And that will likely be the last opportunity for either team, as the red team will head to the break with a 2-0 lead on the strength of goals from Shaber and Bernstein. Stick around. We'll have the second half for you momentarily.
Welcome back here. Marc Narducci along with Rob Crisp here in the South Jersey All-Star game. Blake Fink with a blast that time, and Ryan Gill just into the game for West Deptford makes the save. Wow, welcome to the All-Star game. That's why Ryan Gill was one of the most dominant keepers in South Jersey over the last few years. A bullet by Blake Fink of Rancocas Valley. And earlier in the first half, or late in the first half, I had mentioned that Fink was the guy that made that pass that almost resulted in a goal. It was actually Bernstein who had a tremendous first half with a goal of his own. Bernstein and Dean Shaber of Deptford scoring, and the Red up 2-0 here. Just underway in the second half.
Shot on, and that goes wide. So the red team continues to put on the pressure.
Boy, C.J. Finley been very impressive. How about Ryan Gill? Welcome to the All-Star game and having to make a save like that. He's in the game, and both teams have changed keepers. And Wesley Richards of Rancocas Valley, guy that knows a little bit about stopping shots as well.
Team looking to get it out of their own end. Here's Otto. Otto, a flick pass, little give and go, nicely orchestrated. Otto running onto it. Little move, shot on. And again, you see some of the artistry of Otto.
How about C.J. Finley with the one touch that time to Otto as well? You know, Rob, we talked about the Burlco Liberty being maybe the best conference in the state, certainly in South Jersey, with Delran and RV winning state titles, Morristown winning a South Jersey title. But how about Cinnaminson getting to the South Jersey final? Bordentown actually lost in the first round of the playoffs, beat Morristown and Tide RV, and Burlington Township got to this Central Jersey Group 2 semis. That's a heck of a league.
Yeah, that's
I'll
true.
tell you what.
That's pretty amazing. And as you said, one of the top players is from Willingboro.
Yeah, and they weren't even in the Liberty this year. Of course, I think the Burlco really did a good job. They realigned more on skill than enrollment, and they put some of the top teams up top. And it was the schedule was murderous, but as you saw, I think everybody but Northern Burlington made the playoffs this year. So even though they were kind of beating each other up, they still were all able to qualify. And once they got in the postseason, you saw what they did. I mean, Cinnaminson was an 8 seed and all got to the final of the South Jersey Group 2 tournament.
Shot in, taken.
Rob, we said a lot of these guys have not committed to schools, but one who has is Blake Fink of Rancocas Valley. He's headed to Lafayette, and he actually did that before the season. Well before the season, so.
The Lafayette coach, whose name escapes me, is from the area. I believe he's a product of Delran. White team chipped in.
There's Lombardo, who looks so strong in the first half.
Excellent speed from Lombardo.
Rodier of Williamstown, 17 there with the ball. Physical, but also has some finesse to his game as well. Of course, Rodier's the one that scored the goal, Rob, in regulation against Eastern. And of course, as you alluded to earlier, those two tied 1-1 in the Group 4 tournament, and then Williamstown advanced by winning 3-0 on penalty kicks. Good heel by Sheehan that time.
Headed up, read nicely.
I think Justice Henry, number 18 in the white from Belsey, right on the verge of getting something done, and again right there, just a little bit out of the play, but I'll tell you what, I think he's going to keep being a real pest to this white defense, or red defense, excuse me.
A lot of players bring different assets to the field. When watching Otto, the thing that he brings is just energy. I mean, when you watch him play, there's this passion that is very obvious, not only when he has the ball, but even when he's away from the ball.
It's interesting. He played in the midfield first half, and there he is, a little wide on that shot. But I think his future is certainly up top. Led South Jersey, Rob, with 47 goals.
That's a lot. It's
in 18 games.
So that works out to about 2.5 goals per game. Not too bad. You're a historian. Do you know is that approaching the record in South Jersey?
Now I remember.
This goes way back. I remember Bobby Joe Esposito for a long time had some impressive numbers out of Riverside.
I think someone had in the 60s from one of the Cape schools. I can't remember at the moment.
Riverside used to be quite a soccer hotbed. And they and Delran used to have some monumental battles.
Well, there's no question. You remember when Bill Dent, who's the coach of Cinnaminson, was the coach at Delran. I believe he won 3 state titles. And then I remember Jeff Brown took over and won his first year a state title for Riverside. Yeah, they had the legendary Esposito brothers. A lot of great players.
And that was during the time of Peter Vermes over at Delran. Vermes, of course, went on to become an Olympian.
Remember that year where Vermes' team and Paul VI, there was a controversy who was #1 in South Jersey and everything. Some great soccer in that era.
Sent to the middle.
Of course, that was the era too. Remember when arguably one of the greatest players in South Jersey history, Steve Rammel, was at West Deptford. '85 led them to the Group 3 state title.
Of course, he too went on to play professionally, just as Esposito and Vermes did.
Yep. Some may consider that kind of like the golden era of South Jersey soccer. The difference is, I think there are more good teams now. There may not be the teams maybe of the caliber of some of those great teams, although Rancocas Valley will surely, this year's team would compare to a lot of them in South Jersey. There's Fink.
Shaber leaves, and again, taking it. Ball ran out of gas a little bit, but Gill handling. Gill has done a fine job. He's a fine keeper out of West Deptford. We had an opportunity to see quite a bit of him last year here on Comcast.
He hasn't picked a school yet, but one of the ones that one of the schools he's been talking to is Southern New Hampshire.
Southern New Hampshire.
I'm always interested how those schools from out-of-the-way locales get to see these players, but of course, you know, through club soccer and a lot of other things, they get a lot of exposure to different schools.
There's a few schools that I haven't heard of. Southern New Hampshire. Now, they very well may be a soccer power, but I don't know. I've never heard of Southern New Hampshire. And I will buy your dinner if you can tell me their school nickname.
You can save that money, Rob.
Shaber.
I will say it's the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies, okay.
And if it is,
I'm going to Google that tonight.
I think you're pretty safe with not buying me the dinner.
I tell you, if it is the Grizzlies, Mark, I'll be happy to buy you dinner.
By the way, we didn't mention our...
Nothing bigger than a Happy Meal, however.
Well, you're the last of the big spenders, I'll tell you. Our officials today, by the way, Alan Stout in the middle, and linesman Ray Page and Jim Wells.
Of course, this is essentially the end of the soccer season, and the fall season is coming to an end. Still football. Today, as this game is being played, the Field Hockey Tournament of Champions game is being played, but football essentially all that's remaining for the fall, and we would look forward to basketball and wrestling and all the other sports that transpire. Swimming, I know you're a big swimming aficionado, Mark. And of course, bowling. I know you've had a few turkeys during your heyday.
I'll tell you, I always say the greatest event in South Jersey is a Tri-County swim meet in the summer. The officials are obviously letting them play here. Well, that could have been a dangerous pass across that way. That could have been intercepted that time. By the way, you know, we talked about Eastern ending a long drought, and I was a little surprised with this. West Deptford this year won the Colonial Conference Liberty Division, and that was the Eagles' first division title since '85. I was a little surprised by that. A program of such prominence, and they've had a lot of big years. But, you know, I forgot there was a long time where the Colonial had just one conference winner, and Haddonfield was winning it every year. They went to 2 divisions, I think, earlier in this decade.
Of course, now they've added Lindenwald and Overbrook, and Shaber again with an opportunity. You know, a lot of things are going to change in the South Jersey landscape because I think you're going to see consolidation of schools, Mark, and you know, some of these smaller schools will combine with other schools, and the dynamic and complexion of the high schools will change probably in the next 10 years.
Yeah, very well could be, Rob.
I know when I was at Gateway for a time, there was talk of them combining with Woodbury. So, you know, Governor Corzine certainly has intentions of schools combining, districts becoming larger. And again, that would certainly change the dynamic of many conferences specifically. Stan Ritter, our director, would like to get in, and since I know that he has access to the internet, you will have to buy him dinner if he gets it correct, Mark.
I'm not. I want no part of that. Hey, that time Shaber one timing it didn't quite get everything, and ball went right to Gill.
Now, our director is contending that he once lived in southern New Hampshire. I doubt our director's veracity, Mark. First of all, because I've known Stan for some time. And second of all, because it's taken him quite some time to find out that information. I know that Fred Buchter has access to the internet in there. So that's all you, Mark, if you want to take him up on that.
No, I don't want to take him up on it. No, of course not. I know he knows the answer. Who would have thought in a South Jersey All-Star game we'd be talking so much about southern New Hampshire?
You mentioned Keene State. That's a team that Rowan often plays, actually. And now I'm being corrected by Stan saying it's the wrong Keene.
Wasn't Rowan
it's
coach?
K-E. I'm saying Kene from New Hampshire. The Rowan coach played.
Dan Gilmore, didn't he play at like Plymouth or?
And he played against the Keene coach, and that's why they play every year. So we actually covered them against Keene. So I think officially Mark Stan owes me a dinner now, doesn't he? We are told they are the penmen, which I don't know what that means. It means, what is a penman? Is that someone who writes or someone who previously attended University of Pennsylvania?
Wow, we're told that P.J. Carlissimo coached the Southern New Hampshire basketball team, huh?
Wow. I tell you, that Stan Ritter is just a font of information.
Unfortunately, PJ's looking for another team to coach. Just got let go from Oklahoma City.
I'm sure that it's unfortunate from the standpoint he'd like to still be coaching, but unlike most jobs, he will be paid for the entire year, and I'm sure he will enjoy his time off. You know, Larry Brown has become quite good at that.
It's just amazing that we're talking about P.J. Carlissimo and Southern New Hampshire at the South Jersey Soccer All-Star Game.
And the penman.
Oh, man.
To the middle. Opportunity to the white team. And a flag goes up. Since we're in the midst of speculating, what do you think a penman is?
I don't know. I can't even guess. I can't even guess.
There we go. We got some complimentary hot chocolate here. Certainly warm things up. Of course, this discussion has been quite enlightening.
By the way, Rob, I think it's been a really, good year for South Jersey. You look at the team championships when you can get three state champions, RV Delran and Sacred Heart. That's a heck of a year.
About Sacred Heart.
I saw Sacred Heart.
Anybody's interested, we have
in the South Jersey final against St. Rose of Belmar. They won 3-2. a terrific senior forward by the name of Matt Bick, who had 34 goals this year. It's just a classic finisher, you know. You look at him and you say, hey, how's this guy score goals? And he does it. And he's just a battler, and, you know, what a great season. And of course, the coach, Chris Myrick, actually teaches here at Eastern.
I should know that.
I don't know if he's a teacher or a guidance counselor or whatever, but this is where he's employed.
I know he's not a guidance counselor. And Chris Myrick.
Done a great job. Chris played for that Stockton team that won the NCAA National Championship.
Was that yours?
So it is 2-0, the red team on top. Again, Bernstein, along with Shaver, your goal scorers. And the talented Wesley Richards will send it away.
I'll tell you what, Wesley Richards is about as quick coming off his line as any keeper you will see. He's made tremendous strides in his development.
And we saw that in the first half. You talk about quick coming off the line. Matt League, he's certainly one of the best in that department as well.
Yeah, no question about it. Rob, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of games in my day because I'm old. But I have not seen anything like I saw yesterday when Delran goes down with 1:14 to go and then scores 9 seconds later. I mean,
Can you honestly, can you tell me? Can you give us a play-by-play of what transpired there? Because I found that to be amazing.
What happened was Dominic Nacita, who scored the first goal as well, wow. Let's let Otto do his thing first, and then we'll get back to it. Holy smokes.
Red team again, and right there, it's Gill. Gill will quickly outlet.
Well, that was a nice feed, too, from Shaber to Brawner. That's an explosive little sequence there that we saw from the red team.
Otto once again.
Well, anyway, speaking of Delran, there's Alabone with the ball. So Cliffside Park failed to clear a ball. It was a clearable ball. They just failed to clear it. Nocita's standing right near the doorstep. He's probably maybe 6 yards. Both his goals were the same way. The defensive clears that didn't make it. And it's funny, Rob, the Cliffside Park fans, after the goal, were coming down from the stands. They were ready for the celebration. And the funniest thing in the world is seeing them sprinting back up the stands after Nacita scores that goal. It was unbelievable. And one of the anecdotes was, and I wrote about this, as soon as that goal was scored, Alabone, who's such a great leader, went up to all his players and said, you guys keep your heads up, you know, there's still time. But even he admitted, look, it didn't look too good.
Well, after, the tap at midfield, did they just send a long ball in and just sprint it down after it? Is that essentially what happened?
It went down, right, and it was a ball that should have been cleared, and it wasn't. And by the way, that Cliffside Park team was very good, and they are young. I would not be surprised if they are back in there as Miller kicks it over the goal. They had a sophomore, Rob, named XL Paz.
XL Paz?
Yeah, EXAU. I'm not sure how to pronounce his first name, but I knew his last name because they kept announcing it after he scored goals. He had both goals. He finished with 28 for the season. Yeah, a tremendous player. And they had a team of guys that were just like magicians with the ball. I think Delran, what made it for Delran was I think Delran was a better conditioned team. I think Cliffside Park wore down a little bit.
Well, the red team continues to mount pressure here on the white.
And the other thing is in the State Group 4 final, just a vintage performance by Ryan Finley of Rancocas Valley. Getting both goals and just, again, he and Otto of Willingboro remind me a little bit of each other. You know, they have a little bit different games, and he's got a little edge to his game, but he's both physical, he's got finesse, he can create room for himself, and it was just quite a showing in the state final. Of course, I mean, he is a member of the under-18 national team, so it's not like what he did was some sort of surprise.
The throw in for the red team as some subs will check in. It's Johnson and Keegan for the red squad coming in. Top of the box now. Shot. And this goes awry. Miller.
Tell you what, Miller has really shown his skill. Again, he hasn't committed to a school, although Franklin and Marshall is one that he's looking very closely at. Be a tremendous addition to that program if he decides to go there.
That's a soccer program that has gotten better and better of late. The Diplomats. Not to be confused with the Penmen.
There's Bernstein, who was just so...
Serve to the middle, tipped up. Good read by Gill.
That was a great read by Gill because he didn't go too far out of his way, but just got enough of it.
It's a nice play from the back by the red squad. Nice little read in the back by the red team's John Pontillo from Morristown.
Well, as we mentioned, Pontillo is obviously one of the better defenders in all of South Jersey. Of course, he's here. Of course, he is. But I mean, he's a guy that has, all South Jersey talent. Just reads the game well. You want a guy who's that last line of defense, reading the plays and making the decisions.
Well, flick. Now the white team trying to string together some type of an opportunity. Nice little touch pass, running onto it. Richards trying to cut the angle shot, and right there the red team able to deny. A tremendous opportunity for the white, and again, Richards able to be saved by his defense. And now O'Dear and Richards has it knuckle in on him and able to fight it off.
Well, he was going the wrong way, but that was John Boswell, number 5 for the red team, who saved that goal.
The white team's number 9, Brian Hill from Cinnaminson, with the opportunity. Down to 18 minutes remaining now. Miller sends it in the middle, and that is sent away. Here's Johnson. Johnson easy to pick up because of that mohawk. In the middle, Gill, very strong.
You know what you can see about Gill, how well he plays the angles there. He was in just perfect position that time.
Montillo sends it back dangerously in his own end. Richards will run onto it, and he'll feed. And out of the defense comes Keegan. feed, and now the red team going on.
Boy, Kane and Bernstein, 16 and 18 for the red from Delran and Cherokee respectively, have had a nice chemistry working that left side here.
Keegan feeds the middle. Switching now Johnson. And that looks like it's deflected. It is. Corner kick, red. Red with the corner to the middle, headed Keegan, and knocked away right on the edge of the post. The white defense able to deny Keegan an opportunity to get in the scorer's sheet.
Wow, that was Alex Osei, I believe, number 7 for the white. It was right there in position that time. Right at the post to knock it off and save the goal. Wow, that came close to us.
Throw in. And the white team. You know, what do you think, Mark? It just seems like the red team has had a lot more room to operate in. Marking of the red team much tighter.
I have a theory why the red team has kind of been dominant. They have a lot of players from Burlington County.
That's pretty funny.
I mean, Burlington County, it's not just this year, Rob. This is no revelation that Burlington County had a great year this year. But, I mean, you look at it almost every year, and the county produces, among the top teams in South Jersey. And it's not just the boys. I mean, look what Lenape did with the girls this year. It's just I think it's always been just a real soccer-rich county. All those great teams Shawnee's had.
And, of course, Seneca this year. Now the red team again, putting more pressure on.
Remember the Lenape state champion? I guess it was, 96 maybe, with Dennis Ludwig and Mike Reed, and that was a great team. I mean, you can just go along the list. Morristown, over the years. Delran's won 6 state titles. There's a handball. Wow, Pontello got away with one there. Or did he?
No, they called it.
Okay. Oh, what happened was, okay, I see. Jim Wells is now in the middle. He started out in the line. Alan Stout did the first half in the middle.
Red team looking to break out of their own end. They do. Across midfield.
Yeah, there have been very few fouls called here. These teams, they've been let them play.
Blast denied. Another shot on, and Gill.
Boy, that was Joe Kane, number 16 from Delran. And by the way, your theory about it being tough back-to-back days, Kane has had an outstanding game less than 24 hours after helping Delran win a share of the Group 2 state championship.
Got me second guessing, Tone.
Again, the red team looking to push forward. They hold a 2-0 lead here. Both goals coming in the first half. These are 45-minute halves as opposed to 40 minutes during the high school season.
And I didn't even know that they played a 45-minute half in the first half of the girls' game. I'm thinking to myself, boy, there's a long half. Until our director reminded me, well, that's because it was 45 minutes. Our director knows how long the halves are, and he knows the nickname for Southern New Hampshire.
But
what a man that Stan Ritter.
I'm still waiting for him to tell me what a penman is. It's always nice when you hear a nickname that's original, though. You know? I remember your colleague, one of the other great sports writers in South Jersey, was lobbying for, when Lindenwold became a school, to be the Speedliners. Which I thought would have been a great name.
Would that be that Sam Corchini?
That's correct.
That is the Lindenwold Speed.
Instead, they're the Lions. I mean, first of all, you don't see too many lions in these parts, and second of all, we got plenty of lions around here.
Let me ask you something, though. If you're producing their uniforms, that's a lot of letters along the front of their. Oh, there's Gil with a save. Nice
save by Gil. We call them the Speedies, the Liners. You know, you can always shorten it up. It sounds to me you're not a proponent of that name.
It's probably not my favorite, but it's kind of funny.
I mean, when you go out west and you see some of the schools' nicknames, I mean, you get some pretty original ones out there.
Who was the Rail Splitters?
Is this a college team, the Rail Splitters?
I'm not sure. I've just heard it before. Anyway, back to the action.
See you tomorrow night.
Throwing here for the white. Have a sub, Angster.
I'll tell you, Rob.
Coming back in.
It's been a great week of soccer. All kidding aside, the only thing that hasn't been good has been the weather. But I mean, the players have played through the elements. I think it's been it was a great state tournament this year, and just some tremendous games. And
I've had the pleasure of knowing you, Mark, and I'm being sincere. I've been very fortunate to be able to call you my friend for 10 years now. And you know, for those of people who are watching this game, Mark loves soccer. He is a true soccer aficionado, and it probably breaks your heart to some degree to see the season come to an end because you like it so much.
I enjoy it. But when I do think about missing it, I also think about the bad weather. So I won't miss that. But I mean, yeah, there were just some great games.
Red team again will send it forward. And the red team has certainly won their share of 50-50 balls. Sent towards the middle, Otto shot, and a great save by Gil. Otto sent it right at him, and it just squirted through ever so slightly. But Gil able to keep it from going across the goal line. And Otto would love to have that opportunity back.
I'll tell you what, if Southern New Hampshire sees this tape, they'll definitely want to get Gil signed up here. He's played very well.
Otto looking to settle. Otto, a little flick inside. Shot denied. Ball still loose. But again, some little playmaking. Just a deft little touch pass from Otto. This will result in a corner kick for the red team. Andrew Bronner out of Lenape will take it. Johnson feeding the wing. Of course, we've been doing all-star games for some time, Mark, and this comes to mind when we saw one at Kingsway, which was just a great game, and don't recall the player who was from Cumberland scored to tie it up with literally seconds left in the game. And you being the soccer aficionado, thought I was crazy because I wanted to see the game go on.
Rob, it was like the wind chill factor was like minus 25. It was a little cold that night.
It was great soccer, though.
I'll tell you, that was the night your wife gained a lot of points in my mind. She came and brought Rob a blanket. He called her and said, "I'm cold." Brings her a brings him a blanket.
No, she actually brought me my heavy coat, but
oh, that's what it was. Your heavy coat.
We were not married at that time. That would probably not happen any longer. But but I quickly proposed right after that.
In fact, I don't think she gave up the jacket right till you proposed.
That's correct.
But that was a cold one. Yeah. Here we are.
I always tell her that you know that very story and all the great things you have to say about her because of that.
Oh, I told my wife that story. She said, "You couldn't get me out in the cold to do that for you," which tells you where I stand with my wife. Wow,
shot on a score.
As we're talking there.
Tucking it right in the left corner is Jake Miller. He's had his opportunities, and it actually may have been Joey Kane. Yes, Joey Kane right there. So the third goal scorer for the red team. And a fine shot. Gill had no opportunity to save that one. .604 remaining. This red team has put together opportunity after opportunity. League with a little bit of action in the first half, but Richards has had very little in the second half, the keepers for the red team. Meanwhile, Gill has faced a litany of shots and has done quite well. And again, the red team breaking through. And look at that opportunity. Gill again with a fine save, but what an individual effort by Bronner. Not only the momentum going forward, but to literally spin off of his bottom, get right up, and continue the play.
That's what I like about Bronner, his grit. He just doesn't give up on plays. Really had to carry the offensive load this year for Lenape. There's Miller, who's played very well. That one going over the goal.
Quiet evening now here at Eastern High School. The wind has died down considerably, and pretty good crowd on hand to watch this one. Again, a lot of college coaches in attendance. And that's, again, you know, we mentioned that at the top, Mark, but that's just one of the other things that makes this tournament so special because, of course, an all-star game in basketball, many of those players have already committed, not completely in, and of course in baseball, you know, almost all of them have.
Oh, what a back heel by Otto that time.
And
wow.
Nice switch here. Miller again. Miller in the box now, run off the ball. But as I was saying, Mark, this is a great opportunity for these guys to showcase themselves in front of college coaches.
Oh, there's no question. Again, kudos go to the South Jersey Soccer Coaches Association who give them this opportunity. And then also later this week, Rob, there are going to be a lot of conference games tomorrow. The Colonial's having one, the Burlco is having one, the Cape Atlantic League, and the Trico, all on tomorrow. You know, it's interesting, too, just how hard these guys are playing. It's been a nice, crisp, clean game, but they're really going after it. And it's the reason why these people are all-stars is because that's the way they play.
And that ball is deflected. So down to just over 3 minutes left, as you see at the top of your screen. The red team has had the better of play throughout this evening. They lead 3-0, 3 different goal scorers, 2 coming in the first half. Shaber, Bernstein, and now Kane for the red. There's Miller once again. Miller with some space. Miller. Shot, and looking for the deflection.
Wow, that was
Smith.
That was a hard save by Gill, like you said, Rob, because Steve Smith was right there screening him on the doorstep.
And now the white team comes right back. Long shot, just missing wide, but a fine little play by Brian Flynn out of Clearview. And we saw Flynn earlier in the year here on Comcast. He is very, very talented.
Of course, what a year by Clearview. We talked about that before. The logjam in the Trico Royal with Williamstown, Clearview, and Cumberland all earning a piece of that title. It's a hard-earned title.
Again, Flynn against Defford earlier this year just had so many opportunities. He literally could have scored about 7 goals in the game that we did.
Tell you what, that was a good play by 11, Joe Keegan, because he did not obstruct them, but he hindered them. He hindered them enough to not enable him to score.
Yep.
Minute 15 remaining. The white team would like nothing better to notch at least 1 goal here.
Just like the girls' game, this has been a good game. It's been crisply played, and guys not familiar with each other, the skill actually speaks for itself. They've been playing together, playing here as if they've been playing together for a long time. Wow, did you see that chip by Otto? right on Miller's foot.
Miller feeds and denied by the white defense. Down to 30 seconds remaining now. Johnson. To the middle. And that will go out. I believe it may result in a corner. It will, as we are down to 10 seconds. So the red team will have to hustle here. They do. Sent to the top of the box, and that misses wildly, and that will do it. The red team victorious by the score of 3-0. And Mark, again, fine soccer on display here.
Outstanding, Rob. Again, I think both teams accredited themselves well. I think a lot of college coaches got to see a lot of positive things, and it just shows you the level of good play in South Jersey.
Post-game interviews and a wrap after this. Welcome back. Red team victorious tonight in the South Jersey Soccer Coaches Association Senior All-Star Game. Rob Christ here with Max Bernstein, one of the goal scorers. And Max, talk a little bit about what it means to play with, such a great variety of talent here in South Jersey.
Yeah, well, it's a really good chance to play with some players that you were playing against all season and just have a good time with it. And also it's a good chance for some college coaches to come out and see us play. So it was really a good time all around.
Again, as you mentioned, this is an opportunity for you to showcase your skills before some of the many college coaches on hand. How important is that, and what do you take away from scoring a goal in this big game?
Hopefully it's a good boost for me. I've been talking to a few coaches, but hopefully my game did a lot for recruiting.
Obviously, it speaks well to your own ability as a player individually. Throughout the broadcast, Mark and I talked about the tremendous talent there is specifically in South Jersey, Burlington County. It seems like you had a lot of Burlington County players on your team. Again, that has to bode well for you when you come away with a goal with so many fine players.
Yeah, I think in the past year, South Jersey's really risen in the state as a really big powerhouse in soccer. So it was really good for us all to come together and be good players together.
Well, Max, I wish you the best of luck at school. Let's throw it over to our own Marc Narducci.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. With Bobby Alabone of Delran High School, a day after winning the state Group 2 co-championships, how'd this feel to play today?
Well, it was great. It was a lot of high-level competition out here. It was really fun to get out and get some touches on the ball in a relaxed atmosphere against some of the best talent in South Jersey.
Now you're used to playing in the middle. You're the sweeper. They had you outside today. How'd you like that?
Well, it was pretty cool because I got to get up into the attack more. It was a new experience. Made the conditioning pay off, getting up and down the field.
Bobby, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. You go down with 1:14 to go in regulation and score 9 seconds later. What was that all like, being part of that crazy 9-second sequence?
Well, our team never quits. We're out there for 80 minutes, and we made it pay off. The other team maybe relaxed a little bit after getting that go-ahead goal, and we took it right back down their throats and tied it up. It was a fantastic goal by Dom Macedo.
State champion feels pretty good, right? You'll always be known as that.
Yes, sir. It's a fantastic experience. It was a great run for our team this year, and it's something I'll always remember.
And Bobby, great way to end it here today. Thanks a lot. Bobby Allibone, one of the great soccer players and students in South Jersey, is considering West Point. He's done a great job academically, Rob, and obviously we saw what he can do on the soccer field.
Well, again, no question about that. Tremendous talent on display here this evening, and a great way to wrap up our soccer coverage here on Comcast.
No question about it. I thought both All-Star games were really well played. The players played like all-stars tonight, and for not being as familiar with each other, but they get out and they all know soccer, they all know how to play the game, and they showed a lot of skill here.
Well, again, no surprise given the number of state champions that were on display, a high level of soccer, many college coaches on hand, and we hope that this will be the springboard for these players as they pursue their careers collegiately. Once again, the final score here, it was the Red defeating the White 3-0 for my partner, Marc Narducci, my director, Stan Ritter, our great crew who has survived some very cold conditions these last 2 days. I am Rob Christ. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.